Good evening, folks. Welcome. Happy hump day. Happy Wednesday night. We're going to be going live. Got a lot of folks coming on, some of them in and out. But it's going to be a really great conversation with some really great people. I got a couple of people already waiting. We got Mikey Mazza here from Express.
What's up, Jason?
What's happening? And we also have here from Ball Cap Sports. There he is, flexing the guns for Gun Show.
Let's go.
Let's go, baby. For those of you who have known, folks, shout out to all these for coming on. We got some more guests coming on as well, so it's going to be live tonight. But for those of you who haven't heard, all the stuff that's been going on today, I want to get you guys thinking. I mean, names being exchanged between the Padres and the Yankees. The Mets not only signed Luis Severino tonight, they also acknowledged that they're out on Juan Soto. For those of you who haven't heard, right? And they said he's not a fit for me. They're more than one Juan Soto away from the division title. And they all but acknowledged that in the video. So I think that's an important piece to discuss because I'm going to get your take on this, guys, too. If they're out on Juan Soto, they're very likely going to be out on Yamamoto, too. Okay? Because they're more, and that's something to keep in mind. It's not guaranteed yet, but if they're not going to get Juan Soto, then they're likely not going to get Yamamoto because they still have to re-sign Peter Alonso too, right? Or they're going to move him.
I don't know. Like, they're two different things, right? Like, why be out on Juan Soto because what's the point of trading him, giving up all the prospects?
Yep.
When you could just let him go to the Yankees or wherever for a year and then spend the money for him. So, I mean, it makes sense for the Mets to hold on to the prospects and then just go try to get him next offseason when he's a free agent.
And to your point, too, a lot of folks are saying that he's definitely going to get the free agency.
Yeah.
That Boris doesn't let his guys get to get extensions. I'm going to give you 4 names. Carlos Gonzalez, 5 names. Steven Strasburg, Jose Altuve, Xander Bogaerts, Carlos Gomez. They were all Boris clients. All of them were extended before free agency.
It happens.
Every one of them. So it does happen. So it's just something to keep in mind, folks, okay? And I think it's important for us perspective. What's your take on it, Massa?
So it's an interesting way of saying it. Only because if they're not going to trade for Soto, it doesn't make sense for them to go all in to get Yamamoto for 2 reasons. First reason is if they're not one Juan Soto away from winning an NL East title, what makes me think that they're a Yamamoto away from winning an NL East title? And number 2, why would you go through all of that hassle to get Yamamoto if you're not going to surround him with pieces that are going to give him that run support? So with the Yankees, it makes more sense because, 1, they need lefty bats. They need a power bat that's actually going to produce. They need youth, which he covers that. And by getting that ensures the Yankees a power bat, and it gives Cole and Judge that supporting cast, and it makes it much, much, much more easy for them to obtain Yamamoto as well, or vice versa, whichever way you want to look at it.
Yeah, and I think it's, another thing to keep in mind, too, is that the Yankees have their fans' hands around the Yankees' jugulars right now. Their season ticket sales are down 40%. Renewals. So they have a much greater sense of urgency to have to make these big moves than the Mets do. The Mets made big moves. They didn't work. They might recoup now and see how to maybe approach it a little bit differently. Just because Steve Cohen is worth $15 billion doesn't mean the franchise is worth more than the franchise is. Doesn't mean he's going to spend all the money. It's just like Jerry Jones. He's not the richest owner in the NFL, but the Cowboys are the most valuable franchise in the NFL. So these are different economic pieces to keep in mind. Not saying that Steve Cohen won't spend. I think he will. But I think he's going to be a little bit more
cautious,
maybe strategic with his spending this offseason. What's your take on
I agree.
that?
I mean, I think Yamamoto's a long-term play. So Juan Soto's short-term, Yamamoto's long-term. Waiting for Soto to hit free agency, that's long-term. I think whatever they do, it's going to have a long-term implication. That's why I still think Yamamoto, but here's what I like. And I thought about this today when I was talking about the Soto trade possibility for the Yankees, because I think that's think that's where it's at. Like, I think that if it's going to happen, it's going to be the Yankees. If you trade for Soto, I think it increases the chances that you get Yamamoto, because the only way San Diego's doing the deal is if you're sending pitching back. Ready right now, pitching back, which means you're going to have to raid your rotation. And you're looking at the likes of King, Schmidt, Cortez, maybe 2 of those guys is what it takes to get the deal done, which then creates a hole in your rotation. And the best way to fill that hole is with Yamamoto. I think trading for Soto increases the odds, increases the urgency to go get Yamamoto.
Also, go ahead, Mike. Go ahead.
Also, one other thing that, Jim brings up a great point, and so do you, but the point that Jim made about Soto being a short-term longevity or a short-term goal, and Yamamoto a long-term, goal, there's no guarantee that if Soto does go to free agency, let's say the Yankees get a deal done with the Padres in the next week or whenever, there's no guarantee that Cohen's even going to have a chance to get him, because the Yankees may end up shelling out the money to re-sign him. So there's no guarantee.
Yeah, and to your point, too, if the Yankees trade for him, then it's very likely that they're going to extend him, too. They're gonna have to. Otherwise, again, people are going to be rioting in the streets with their hair on fire. So, and rightfully so. When you get a chance to trade for a guy like this, you got to lock him up if you can, right? By the way, hit the like button, gang. We got 272 people. Can we let's get over 200 likes if you don't mind, gang. Greatly appreciate it. Let's just show Jim some love. Let's show Mazza some love too. But and this is where and I want to get your take on this too. Folks saying or suggesting that we add Jay Cronenworth's contract to this. Okay. Now I'm thinking on one end, well, if we take Jay Cronenworth, that's $80 million over 7 years. Then the prospect return has to go down. Right?
Absolutely.
And my fear, and I don't know if you guys agree with me, is Jay Cronenworth might make it easier to get Juan Soto, but he might make it harder to extend Juan Soto. Because Scott Boras could be like, well, this $80 million you spend on Cronenworth could have gone to Juan Soto. So
I can see that
perspective, I'm trying to think about it that way. I'm not speaking for Scott Boras, but it's one of the first things I thought about. And Scott Boras is a Jedi master at playing GMs off each other, playing teams off each other. If anybody can parlay this into a mastermind of baseball education, it's Scott Boras.
Absolutely.
Shout out to Tats at Pinstripe Chronicles. Thank you so much for coming on. You believe Cohen was going to be easy to outspend and win with his deep. Yeah, I mean, look, that's the thing. Like, really sinking in that it's a chess game and this process. You're right about that. And again, I think Steve Cohen's going to do a good job at learning from his
mistakes.
It didn't work last year, and I think he's going to have a different approach. And again, just because he has the most money doesn't mean he's going to spend more than everybody else.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. One reason he has so much money is because he's a good businessman. He's not going to make foolish moves.
No.
Right? So I think that's a testament to Cohen's business acumen. So, Tats, hop on if you want, man.
I mean, here's the other thing I wanted to put out, and I thought it's very interesting when you put that video out about the names being thrown around. And you remember the text I sent you about the actual names? I thought that was quite interesting because I don't think it's gonna take a Peraza to get a deal done. I really don't think that. If that is the case, I think it's definitely gonna take pitching. I see Schmidt, I see Thorpe, possibly a Hamilton or a Cortez going over in that deal, but I could see them saying, well, if that's the case and you want that left, because the Padres have also expressed interest in Anthony Rizzo. We can't forget that. They did express interest in Anthony Rizzo. We could be like, well, why don't we give you Rizzo to get that bat in return, that left-handed bat that you're going to be losing in Juan Soto, and then we'll give you Everson Pereira to sweeten the deal. So then that way we're taking salary cap off your hands. You're not owing Soto $30 million. You're getting cheap, young, controllable players, plus a left-handed hitting slugger in Rizzo, who only has, 17 to 32 million left on his deal?
Yeah, but they don't want that. They don't want that 17 million. They don't have the money for that, right?
But if the Yankees eat half that salary, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, sure.
So
If
the
they
Yankees,
Yeah,
the Yankees eat half that salary. Then as like an incentive for them taking Rizzo.
Right.
yeah. I mean,
Then that's something I would think they could do.
I could see if they eat it. I think they might counter with you're gonna have to take Cronenworth. You want us to take Rizzo, you got to take Cronenworth, right? There's gonna be some kind of countering here. I mean, I'm excited by the fact that names are being exchanged, but I mean, these guys. I mean, this Cashman does it to all GMs too. They start at the moon and they settle in the clouds, right? At some point, there's going to be a compromise point. We don't know what the hell that's going to be right now, but the price is always going to be high. And the fact is, the Padres own the crown jewel, Juan Soto. So this has to hurt the Yankees to a degree. This has to hurt for the Yankees.
Yes.
To get this guy, to get the Rolls Royce Phantom, you're going to have to give up a bunch of BMWs, a bunch of Jaguars.
Yes.
You have to.
Absolutely.
Right? So we just don't know what it's going to be yet. I think there's more names are going to be floating around. I mean, I would love to wake up one morning and be like, holy shit, they made this trade and it's done for the winter meetings. I don't know if it's going to happen, but this is, the most heat going around right now I think revolves around this trade. But that said, these are the types of moves they have to make to contend with the rest of the behemoths in the AL East. Boston's going to make moves. They have a lot of money to spend, right? They only have, I think after this year, they're only committed to like 3 players contract-wise. And they're going to spend. Baltimore, I think, is going to make bold trades because they're relatively frugal.
Yeah.
In free agency, and these guys are cheap. And if they're going to bring in so Jordan Montgomery, if you haven't heard, Jim, he moved to Boston now. His wife has taken a dermatological residency at Harvard Medical. So I think it increases the chance of him playing East now. Somewhere, I don't know. I think it decreases the chance of him going back to Texas. But that could mean he goes to Boston, Baltimore.
Yeah. I don't think Baltimore would pay. I don't think Baltimore will pay. I think Baltimore is going to be looking to trade for those young controllable.
I see Baltimore or Dylan Cease in Toronto. I see them going either one of those.
Cease, as far as Baltimore goes, it'll depend on how much they have to give back for the Orioles. I think for Jordan Montgomery, if I'm looking at teams, we know the Phillies weren't done after the Nola deal. Maybe Philly is a possibility, right? That's not it's not too hard to get from Boston to Philadelphia, and Philly's got Wheeler. Wheeler's gone after next year. 2024 is the last year of Wheeler's deal. So Montgomery and Nola can carry you through the next 5 years. So I think Philly's a real possibility. Boston's a real possibility. Boston bailing out. I love this. I talked myself into this earlier today, that the reason why we heard that the Red Sox and the Rangers are not pulling out, but they're out on Juan Soto, or at least they are focusing on other elements right now, and Juan Soto's no longer the centerpiece for their offseason plan, is Jordan Montgomery. The fact that the Mets floated out or somebody close to the Mets floated out that they were interested in Jordan Montgomery, I think that got the Rangers thinking, we can't forget about Jordan. We have to try. The Red Sox, we can't wait around on Otani. We need to go out and get pitching. Nola and Gray are off the board. If Montgomery goes off the board to the Rangers, we can't let that happen. We cannot be hypnotized by Otani. I think that there's like a Jordan Montgomery domino effect, hearing that the Mets were in on him, that all of a sudden Boston and Texas are like, oh, we got to do something. So Montgomery, Boston definitely plays. Philly plays. I don't think he has to stay on the East Coast just because his wife opened up the whole thing in Boston. I think he can still go back to Texas, but there's certainly like 3 or 4 teams that really need him.
I've got a dark horse for Montgomery.
Yeah, who you got?
Atlanta.
It plays. It plays.
They're looking at a frontline arm, so
it plays.
Yeah. NFE, what's your take, man? Welcome, NFE. Welcome, brother. What's your take? We're talking Jordan Montgomery.
Yeah, what's going on, guys? Jordan Montgomery, my original thought that was going to be that he was going to sign back with Texas. That was my original thought. I mean, yeah, that was my original thought. But as we discussed earlier today, that his wife is in Boston or somewhere in Massachusetts.
She's starting her dermatology residency at Harvard Medical.
Hey, Jason. I'm sorry, I'm gonna be back on in a second. I just gotta call my kids.
Go ahead, man.
All right, man.
You're good. Yeah. So, I mean, that might change everything now. So it's a possibility that
I didn't know this was going to happen. I actually predicted him to go to Boston when I did my free agent prediction. He had him going to Boston. I don't know if it's going to happen, but like, it's definitely a viable option now. I had no idea his wife was going to do this Harvard medical thing. So, but it just seemed like a fit, and I thought it would be. My logic was him trying to sticking it to the Yankees, going Boston. So he could.
He very well can. He very well can. Yeah.
So Boston's in play. Boston could definitely be. Boston needs two. I think Boston needs to go get two, an A or a B, or an A free agent and an A trade piece. Boston needs to go get two.
How about division. Toronto? How about Toronto, Jim? They got to add to Manoah? Is Manoah going to stay here? Is he going to get moved?
I don't know. I mean, what I do know is that the Blue Jays are in on everybody. And we're not just hearing that from like the John Heymans of the world. We're hearing that from Ross Atkins, last night talking to the BBWA. So it's real, right? I think that this team is at a fork in the road offseason. I was talking about it earlier with the guys from Blue Jays Today. I was talking about it on my last couple of live streams. I've been bringing it up that this is a crossroads offseason for them, because if it goes the way it's gone the last couple of years, where it just doesn't look like it's working, they're underachieving, they're out early in the playoffs, maybe they don't even make the playoffs, then you have to make decisions on Bo and Vladdy, because they will be entering their final year of control. And if you're not going to win, or you're not going to re-sign them, you have to trade somebody, and then you may be starting to look like you're waving the white flag. So it's a huge, huge offseason. Cannot be understated for the Toronto Blue Jays, and that's why we're hearing Ohtani and even Juan Soto and talking about urgent. That was the word that was used by the general manager, that they have an urgency there to build around this young core now. So they're going to be in on guys.
Do you think this is why Bo and Vlad were mentioned as trade partners potentially for the Cubs? Does it have any teeth to that?
People are calling. People are calling because they're at the point now where there's 2 years of control left, and you want to find out. I think there's two things going on. You truly want to find out if you can go and get them. And if you can't go and get them, the other benefit to having that discussion is you gauge what the marketplace is. So you call them today, and they tell you it's going to cost you $100 on the dollar to get Bo Bichette. Okay, fine, great, good to know. And then you call in a year, and if they're still telling you it's $100 on the dollar for Bichette, you can say, bullshit. You said that last year when there was 2 years of control. Now we're coming down. So you sort of gauge the market, the thinking, all of that now, and then you maybe revisit it next year, because I'm skeptical that they give them both $300 million deals. I can't see it.
Yeah, I mean, and I guess the Cubs are a decent trade partner. Of the top 5 farms in baseball, number 1 is the Orioles. The next 4 teams are the National League Central.
Yeah.
The next 4 freaking teams. The Cubs are one of them. I think they're 3 or 4.
I actually think Bo. I think Bo's the guy that gets extended.
Bo?
I do. I think Vladdy is the guy that is almost mythological. And if you are trading for Vladdy, it's Vladdy, right? I think you maybe get more back if you're trading Guerrero. Big if. I think Bo, if you're Toronto, maybe that's the guy you keep because he plays shortstop, right? That's a more premier defensive position. He's shown that he's a better hitter, a more consistent hitter. Doesn't have the power, but we got a guy that's leading the league in hits when he's playing most of the. So I'm telling you, I really do. I think that if somebody gets moved of the two, it might be Vladdy and not Bo, and Bo gets the extension. Bo's not gonna play third base. The whole Cubs thing was just bonkers. Bo's not playing third base. Bo's arm sucks, so he's not playing third base. Not gonna happen.
Would Vladdy, I guess, play first base for the Cubs or DH for the Cubs?
One of the two. Yeah, he'd be first base DH.
Yeah, I mean,
no, it may not be the Cubs though, because if Vladdy's out there, everyone's calling.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, so if Bo's out there, everyone's calling too. But I think you've got a if it's out there, then everyone knows it's out there and everybody's calling. It won't be one team that gets to sneak in there and grab them before there's any momentum.
True. What's your take, NFA? What are your thoughts on that, man?
With the whole Blue Jays situation,
Yeah, this is potentially big. I mean, like the Blue Jays can go in a lot of different directions this year.
Yeah, they can. Yeah, they can. I have a feeling they'll trade Vlad Jr. I think Bichette stays. That's what I think, and I think they should keep Bichette.
He's more of an all-around guy.
Yeah,
and
for Vlad Jr., they could definitely get some value back for him. So I don't know what teams they're talking to. I know the Cubs were mentioned. I don't know if there were other teams there, but
there was a Mets rumor that popped up that the Mets and Blue Jays talked about Vladdy and Pete, which I don't know why you would do that. It's the same guy, right? Yeah. It's a first baseman. It's power. Why would you trade one for the other? It makes no sense.
Yeah, that didn't make a lot of sense to me either there, Jim. So I completely agree with you on that. And Manoah, I'm assuming he's probably getting moved at some point, or he's getting traded at some point.
You're at a point where the values is about as low as it can get. And I unless you can trade him for the value, close to the value he was before, you put him in a package, he's not going anywhere. Now there's this caveat. Everybody's saying that his value is as low as it can get. That's not true. It can get worse. He can go for training and suck. And if he goes to spring training and he's terrible, then his value is truly at the lowest point possible. So if the Blue Jays know that there's something wrong and they're saying the right things, I believe Ross Atkins, there was a quote yesterday at that gala, wherever he was speaking, talking about how he's in great shape, he's motivated, he's excited, and they're excited. That's checking all the boxes to building up his trade value back. If you say he's going through his off, you don't have glowing things to say, then that doesn't help. But I think it is more likely that he is back. Again, the only way is if he's included in a package, and you're getting some of that value back. They're not going to trade him. They're not going to trade him for pennies on the dollar.
No, I don't. Why would they?
Are we talking Gleyber Torres?
No, we're talking
Alek Manoah,
Blue Jays. And I know some folks are asking to hop on here. Just hang tight a little bit. I think we have a couple more folks coming on, so I want to give them time as well to get on here before we have anybody else in here. But hit the like button, gang. Let's try to get over 300 likes, gang. We got over 300 people in here right now, so I appreciate all you coming on. Very, very much. Thank you for spending time with us. But yeah, I mean, Alek Manoah is not a free agent. The Yankees can't sign him. He's got more years of control with the Blue Jays. But in terms of trade, to your point too, Jim, Vladdy's the most logical trade piece. And when's the last time the Cubs had a righty hitting bomb? Sammy Sosa?
Yep.
Right-handed hitter hitting bombs in Wrigley Field?
Yeah.
I mean, Vlad would be launching him in Wrigley Field. Launching him.
Yeah.
Shit. That's a nice Sammy Sosa part 2 right there. My God.
Yeah, I mean, and you never know what happens between now and next year, right? If we get to a point where the Blue Jays have identified that they're keeping Bo, that's where they're going to invest, and they're trading Vladdy, let's say that's the road they go down, then what's the landscape look like at that point? Has Arizona traded Christian Walker, or Christian Walker's gone or something? Arizona has a need. Has all these needs could arise. Cleveland needs power, right? Bo could go be the Cleveland DH, and Cleveland could, why can't Shapiro and Atkins swing a deal with their old club and go get Tristan McKenzie from the Cleveland Guardians as part of a package for Vladdy? So there's so many things that could happen, and that's why I brought it up with the guys from Blue Jays today when we were talking earlier too, that let's road where the Blue Jays get Ohtani. Let's live in La La Land for 5 seconds. And let's say that they get Shohei. And I think there's still a chance that they trade one of those two.
Really?
Because if you got $50 million a year going to Shohei Ohtani, and you're going to have 25 to 30 million going to Bo, and you're going to go another 25 to are you going to wrap up $100 million? The Toronto Blue Jays, I understand Rogers is the company that owns it. It's a corporation that owns it. They're going to throw $100 million
on 3 guys.
At 3 guys. I don't see that. So I still think there's a good chance that they end up sending one of those guys away, but not for prospects, for guys like Tristan McKenzie. Guys, stud stars with years of control that they don't have to dole out crazy money for.
Yeah, it makes sense.
NFE and I were talking today, and I know, Jason, you chimed in on it. But another trade piece that is a very intriguing one for many reasons would be David Bednar of Pittsburgh. Because I don't really see Pittsburgh doing much. I don't think they're there. I think, yes, they locked up Reynolds for the next 8. I'm not discrediting the fact that they did that. They locked him up for the next 8, but can they really afford to throw another massive deal at one of their players? I don't personally see that. So I think there are several teams that have a need for a good bullpen piece. The Yankees are one of them. I could see the Blue Jays making a run at Bednar. I think that'd be a nice fit for them. Yeah. I could see Atlanta trying to go after him. Yeah. And the other piece that I would be very interested to see go after a piece like that would be the Mariners. Could they add another piece to that bullpen to help out Munoz to give him some cushioning so he doesn't get his arm completely blown out by mid-season? So David Bednar is an intriguing piece to look at because of those reasons.
Yeah, I'll give a timeline that I think that is pretty realistic for that, because Bednar is always rumored, and he's going to continue to be rumored because, he's great, and how good is Pittsburgh really? I think so. You've got 3 more years of control with David Bednar, so there isn't that much of a hurry because you have this year, next year, the year after, and Pittsburgh last year called up a lot of their young players, Nick Gonzalez, Henry Davis. There's a lot of guys that they brought up to the big leagues, and now 2024, I think this is week season is the year. They've got Mitch Keller. They're almost at a fork in the road point too. If 2024, all those young kids that they called up, if Ke'Bryan Hayes isn't doing his thing, if Nick Gonzalez doesn't do it, if Henry Davis doesn't do it, if these other players aren't getting the job done, Jack Sawinski regresses, but I think Bednar becomes a real trade chip at the trade deadline because they just gave the money to Reynolds, so they think they can be competitive. They got to go through this 2024 season, at least start the 2024 season, and see that they're not even close to being competitive before they deal him off.
And they're going to have to pay O'Neal Cruz.
And O'Neal Cruz. Good point.
Yep.
He's going to cost more than Reynolds. So Yankee Frankie wants to know, would the Angels trade for Vlad Jr. if he's available? Do they have enough to get Vlad Jr. to Angels?
I don't see it personally.
I don't either. I don't think they have the farm system. I think that farm system is so out of whack and so weak that they don't have the pieces that it's going to take to get a Vlad Guerrero Jr. There are teams, let's just, for example, say the Dodgers. If they wanted to go out and get a guy like that, they've got the pieces to do so.
Definitely.
I think we can't be looking at the Angels at a team that could get a Vlad Guerrero Jr. We need to be looking at a team like the Dodgers. You could even throw the Diamondbacks in that if you wanted to, because they've got a couple of very good young pieces. I apologize about the bell in the background. Anyways, you've got the Diamondbacks. You could see maybe the Reds trying to do something. Maybe throw Jonathan India in a deal for him. Maybe not really the Red Sox because they're kind of on the rebuild. I mean, there's a couple of teams that have the pieces to do it, but I don't see the Angels as one of them.
Right.
Agreed. And Angels are kind of in a similar boat to the Yankees. They have to leapfrog multiple teams in their division with significant moves. Like, the Yankees got to leapfrog the Blue Jays, the Rays, the freaking Orioles. Like, the Angels got to leapfrog the Mariners, the Astros, and the Texas Rangers. So whatever moves they make have to be significant. Yep,
that's true. Guys, I got to run. I got to hop out. I got to go do some stuff. But, Jason, I appreciate you inviting me and having me into chat. I apologize for hijacking half the stream and talking Blue Jays.
That's all good, man. If you guys haven't seen Jim Riley over at Ballcap Sports, please do. Check out his new Barreled Up podcast as well.
Yes, please do.
Talking the real stuff. Please support him. He's great. One of my favorite channels out here. So love having him on here. We did our end of month summary of this past year. I'd love to do it again next year, Jim. So
yeah, for sure.
He's a good dude, man. Good dude.
Definitely.
Please support him and enjoy his videos. Jim.
Yeah, let's do that. Thank you, Jason. I appreciate it, guys. Hit that like over 200. Like it up. Get it over 200. What are you doing? Stop snoozing on the like button. Hit the like button. See you guys.
Yeah. Later, Jim.
See you.
We got
what a great conversation that was with Jim.
Yeah.
Great conversation.
Jim knows his stuff. He knows his stuff.
I like inviting you guys because we have great takes. I want JJ brought up was it JJ? Where the hell was that question at? Here it is. I'm gonna put this up. In a crazy trade, Vladimir. I don't think Vladimir ever going to the Yankees.
Yeah.
I don't think the Yankees will ever get him. Especially if they somehow get Bellinger, they don't need Vlad.
No.
But what would he say about a press conference after long like this in your head? I don't know, man. I thought I love you all the time. Like, I don't know. You have to Tony Montgomery man.
But I gotta say, that's going to be a piece to look out for, especially down the road if the Blue Jays end up realizing that they're not going to be able to retain him because of the money. I don't think that the owners of the Blue Jays are going to want to dish out that kind of money to him if they're going to dish it out to Bo and to other players. And I think Jim brought up a great point by that. Yeah. Do you really think they're going to want to put out $100 million on 3 different guys? I don't think so.
That's a good point. And folks, keep this in mind. Freaking Soto, Bellinger, Yamamoto. That's about $90 million between the 3 of them.
And that's cheaper than what it would be to get, a guy like Ohtani, Bo, and Vlad Guerrero Jr.
Which is why I keep saying, at least in my opinion, that if the Yankees somehow get all 3 of them, then the Yankees are going to have to trade Torres.
I don't even think, and even if they don't get all 3, I still think they got to trade Torres.
And if they trade Torres, I think, get it for some controllable pitching. That clears off money, but now you've only added 1 bat instead of 2 because you swapped Torres out for a different bat. So I still think they need to go out and trade for a controllable bat on top of that, trading Torres. So I do think they need to add 2 bats one way or the other. And if we subtract Torres, then you need to add 3 bats, which takes it to 2. So this one's going to be a really, really interesting offseason, a fascinating freaking offseason.
Absolutely.
It's going to be crazy, man. NFE, what's your take, buddy? What's your take, brother?
I mean, bro, there's so much going on right now. I mean, there's a lot of talk, there's a lot of buzz, which I mean, it gets me excited for all this, everything that's going on with the Soto trade, potentially Yankees potentially signing Yamamoto, Bellinger. I mean, there's just a lot going on, and and you mentioned 3 bats. That's what I had said before the season ended. The Yankees are going to need at least, I think they need 3 bats to make this a more formidable lineup. I mean, Soto alone is not going to do it. He's going to improve it. He's going to improve the lineup, definitely. But they need I mean, if they get Bellinger, it's a bonus. But they could also go after Jung-Hoo Lee, right? Yep. I know we talked about Kiermaier. So the Yankees have a lot of options. I mean, they can. It's right in front of them. Like it's right there. Like if you can't blow this It's like, here you go.
Tyler's right. There's a chance we can get all three, but I do think that's going to have to come with trading Gleyber Torres to balance the money out. Now, Arthur has a question here. As a Padres fan, he'd like to know our opinions on Randy Vasquez and Clark Schmidt. Well, Clark Schmidt's a developing pitcher. I think that these pitchers have had the benefit of learning under Garrett Cole, being mentored under Garrett Cole. So I think Schmidt, he's got 4 years of control left. Okay, 4, and he's a developing pitcher. So I think he'd be a good addition. I would hate to lose him, but he would be a good addition for the Padres.
Absolutely.
Randy Vasquez, another one, 6 years of control. Promising. Go ahead.
There's Johnny Brito.
Yeah, and we haven't even mentioned like the top prospect guys yet. But those guys are at they're on the 40 man now. So if the Padres want affordable pitching, and the fact is they're going to lose. Let's go over this. They're going to lose Snell and Hader. They've already lost like 3 or 4 other pitchers too.
Yep.
So, and the only way to replenish their starting rotation and bullpen, and having to comply with the mandate of getting $50 million cut off the payroll because they're out of compliance with MLB regulations with debt to service ratio. So they have to cut $50 million. It's not suggested. They have to. They're mandated to cut it. So the only way to do that is by trading Soto and getting rid of his salary for cheap players. The Yankees can accomplish that, help them accomplish that. And one of the other things to keep in mind, you have these guys. You have Machado. We have Bogarts, and I told you this guy too. And they have Tatis. They all have no trade clauses. Soto does not. He hasn't even hit free agency yet, so he doesn't have any of that stuff. He's still in arbitration. He's the only guy that can be moved and get value back without having to veto it. He can't veto anything. The other guys can. So
yeah. Would you say it's safe to say that the Padres don't have a lot of leverage with the Yankees in terms of the trade? Because initially they asked for a lot of big names, right? Sure. And the Yankee and I understand. I get it. I get why. I mean, you got to start high, and then somehow meet in the middle.
Cashman asked for the moon too in trade trades. All GMs do it.
Oh yeah.
But I think it is fair to say that the Yankees have all the cards. So if you think about it, the Yankees are playing with the best hand you can play with. And that is the fact that they have the ability to lower the Padres' salary cap, which the Padres desperately need to do. They need to shed $50 million off that payroll. Okay? The Yankees need to absolutely extort that and use that to their advantage. They need to say to San Diego, stop asking for the world, because we're not giving you the world. We are willing and absolutely 100% willing to make a deal with you, but this is what we're going to offer you. It's going to take that payroll. It's going to cut it in half, because you're not going to pay Soto $30 million. We're going to give you your controllable starting pitchers, but we're not going to give you a guy like a Dominguez or Volpe. We're not doing that. That's not happening. We're not going to give you 3 of our best pitchers. It's not going to happen. Here's who we're giving you. Here's what we're going to do. It's either you take it or you leave it. The Yankees need to play hardball on this. And that's not to say that you want to be, disrespectful to them about it. You want to tell them that you are willing to negotiate, but you have to negotiate where they're shedding payroll and we are giving them what they want at the same time, while in return we are still getting Juan Soto.
Yeah.
Yeah, again, I was gonna. Oh, go ahead.
And if you go, man.
I was just gonna say I don't know why the Padres would ask for Peraza or Volpe. They're crowded in the infield, so why
they'd be blocked. They'd be completely blocked. They wouldn't have a place.
Completely blocked.
That's why it's just, I mean, D-Rob's
it'd be a waste for them.
Dominguez, what do you trade? I mean, I don't think you're gonna have to trade either one.
Yeah.
I'm not trading either player, D-Rod. No way.
I would have traded Volpe. If the Yankees were in a position to get Soto 2.5 years ago, like the Padres were to get 2.5 years of Soto, I would have given Dominguez.
Yes.
Okay. Not now. Not for 1 year of Juan Soto. No.
And the Padres have said they want controllable close to major league ready or major league ready starting pitching.
Yeah.
That is what they want. And you know who holds that? The Yankees. They've got Clark Schmidt, Drew Thorpe, Chase Hampton, Ian Hamilton, Nestor Cortez, Randy Vasquez, Johnny Brito, Luis Hill, just to name a few. I could go on all night if I wanted to, but I'm not going to. But they've got the pieces that San Diego wants.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it makes too much sense. And again, the Yankees are probably the only team that I can think of that has not only the prospect capital and the willingness to part with some of it. Okay, with the Cubs and Mariners have been mentioned as teams with high prospects, but they're not willing to part with their pitching prospects. The Yankees are. Okay, the Yankees, and you add that the ability to either absorb another bad contract or extend the guy. The Yankees can do that too. So
I would rather not absorb another bad contract because we already have a bad contract in Stanton. Not saying that I hope he doesn't have a bad year, but that contract is not looking so great on the other side of what all the injuries have and the fact that he hasn't been able to stay healthy.
Yeah, I'm telling you. Well, 185 likes, gang. Let's blow through. If anybody hasn't hit that like button, let's try to get to 250 in the next couple of minutes. I thank you.
300.
Oh, yeah, let's try to get to 300 likes if we can. Illuminati, Aiming at Sports, thank you so much for the super chat. His prediction is Eddie Rosario, 1 year, $10 million. Kiermaier, 1 year, $10 million. Trey Torres to Seattle for pitching. Play Peraza at second, improving the Yankees' defense. We don't block Jones and Dominguez. Sign Yamamoto. Okay.
Interesting.
So I know we discussed briefly, Mazza, about Torres and Seattle.
Yes, we did.
For pitching. Yeah. But honestly, I don't see Seattle giving up pitching. I really don't. That's me personally. I know
that's fine. I mean, it was just like I said, it was just a thought. Jason and I have been rattling that idea back and forth for the last year and a half now about Andres Munoz.
I like the idea.
The other idea that they could do is look to the White Sox. They are having a fire sale. That team is such a dumpster fire. It's not even funny. That team is so beat up and so damaged. They don't know what direction they're going in. They don't know if they're going backwards. They don't know if they're going forwards. They don't know if they're going east, west, north, or south.
And Mike and I have been talking about a pitcher from the White Sox not named Dylan Cease. Garrett Crochet. 23-year-old left-handed power reliever with 3 years of control left. Be a perfect candidate.
And you know what? That could be your closer.
Yes.
That could be your closer.
Yes.
A power. He is 6'6", 235 pounds, tops out at 103 with a devastating slider. Yeah. Why wouldn't you want a guy like that? He's a power left-handed relief pitcher. It's funny. He almost reminds me of Billy Wagner with the stuff that he has.
Yes, and I think the Yankees line up nicely with the White Sox here. And I think that has to be key because they're not going to just dump everybody. Like the trade has to be right. And I think somebody said it. Yeah, Arthur said it too. And they're looking for the right deal. And I think Torres and a good prospect for Crochet would be a good return.
Here's an idea for a trade, and I want both your opinions on this.
Go ahead.
Yankees acquire Garrett Crochet. We send to the White Sox Gleyber Torres. There's your replacement for Tim Anderson, because we know Tim Anderson's gone. He's not going to come back.
Shout out Talbot. Thank you, man. Go ahead, Mike.
And then you'll give him a mid to high level prospect and then a mid to low level prospect. So the mid to high level prospect will be a Yoendrys Gomez or a Clayton Beater. And then on the bottom end of that, you'll give him Elijah Dunham.
Interesting.
They're still getting the replacement, or if you even not wanted to give Elijah Dunham, you can give him Trey Sweeney. Because he's blocked here. We have no room for Trey Sweeney, and I hate to say that. but we have no room for Trey Sweeney.
You're not lying. They don't
It's
have
a
room
good
for
problem to have.
Yeah.
It's a good problem to have. We have so many
So that
prospects.
means you're giving them Gleyber Torres to replace Anderson for a year. Then you're giving them Sweeney to replace Torres when he leaves. And he's under team control for the next 6 years because he hasn't even played a game in the majors.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then you're giving them a pitcher to go along with that.
Man, to me, that's a reasonable return. I mean, it really is. Tyler, thank you for Super Chat, man. Hampton, Cortez, Schmidt, Pereira, Cerna for Soto. I think it's one too many starters, in my opinion.
Yeah. I would get rid of Cerna.
Two major league starters.
I wouldn't give him Cerna.
I go Hampton and Cortez and Pereira. I try to keep Schmidt personally.
They're going to want Schmidt. That's the problem. They're going to want Schmidt.
If they want to give Schmidt, then okay.
If it's not Schmidt, then it's going to be King.
Yeah, I would give up King before Schmidt. Schmidt's got 4 years of control. King has 2.
Then if you're going to do that, if you're really looking to go down that road, then you give him King, Hampton. You may have to throw Drew Thorpe into that if that's what they want, and I would be okay doing it because you're still keeping Schmidt. And then Pereira. And the only reason why I say Hampton and Thorpe in that, if they want it, and why I'd be okay with it is because of the fact that you're keeping Schmidt. And then you still go out, you still get Yamamoto, and then you've got Cole, Yamamoto, Rodon, Schmidt, and then you can plug in a 5th guy with whoever you deem necessary or deem fit to be in that 5th spot.
I could honestly see Mazza, the Yankees moving possibly Will Warren before they move Thorpe. I have a feeling they want to keep Thorpe.
You might be right.
But if it takes Thorpe to get Soto, hey, I'm not saying no, but
no, exactly.
But I think Thorpe is. I think the Yankees want Thorpe as part of their future. But I could see them trading Will Warren, honestly.
Or you could give him a Warren.
Yeah, I mean, if I know I threw out a few different trade ideas for Soto, but I mean, what if you did Schmidt, Hampton, Warren, Pereira, Brito? I know that's a lot, but for Soto, but I mean, it's Juan Soto.
Yeah.
So
I'd only do that if he'd be willing to extend when he got here.
For Soto? Soto
yes.
Extending?
Yes.
Well, I saw a tweet earlier that there's somebody was saying that since Soto's a Scott Boras agent, or client, should I say, that an extension is probably not going to happen. He's going to have him. He's going to test the market. I really think that's what's going to happen. That's what I think personally, unless the Yankees make a fat offer.
Yeah, I countered that too because people are just saying it's not going to happen. Like he's never done it before. And we talked about this already. Steven Strasburg, Jose Altuve, Xander Bogaerts in Boston, Carlos Gonzalez, Cargo. So they were all Boras clients. He got them extensions before they hit free agency.
Yep.
Every single one of them.
True.
So it has happened. True. It does happen. Now,
fair enough.
Come into a historic free agency, and he's obviously the prize of the litter. But again, like when you look back, Steven Strasburg was the prize of the litter back then.
I also want to point something out with this Soto talks, with the news you put out earlier, Jason. There's been a lot of smoke coming from this. And what generally comes after smoke?
Fire, baby.
There you go. So with all this smoke, there's fire somewhere in there. And and that fire is going to emerge eventually. It's going to have to.
Mm-hmm.
So NFE, you and I were talking about this earlier. You and I both agree that we could see a deal done within the next week and a half, 2 weeks. And it's probably going to be after the winter meetings, but it's going to get done. Eventually, they're going to meet in the middle. There's no way around it. They're both interested in getting Soto, to the other team. They're both, both parties are interested in making this deal. with all the smoke that's coming around it, both parties are interested in making this deal and getting it done. We see this. This has been reported for the last month and a half, and we've seen this. So I think this deal is going to get done sooner rather than later.
By the way, shout out to
Mazza.
Flash on here as well. Sorry, Enfi.
You're good.
Flash on here. Crested Flags and Mazza, they're both loyal and valued members of the Pinstripe Chronicles. So go check them out. Please support the Pinstripe Chronicles. Please support Uncle Tats too on the Chronicles. Okay.
Yeah, Tats is our boy.
So shout out to you boys. Oh, he disappeared. He left us already. Oh, good knowing you.
But yeah, no, that you and I were speaking about that earlier, and I wanted to bring that up because there is so much smoke around it.
Oh, so much smoke. Yeah, I mean, it makes absolutely no sense for the Padres to keep Soto.
No.
It makes absolutely no sense. And if they wait till the trade deadline, let's just say they wait till the trade deadline.
2 months of them?
They're not going to get the type of value that they could get.
They're going to get half the return that they would get now.
You might as well just let them walk for a qualifying offer at that point. Get back. Might as
Absolutely.
Well. You let them up for nothing or next to nothing.
Yeah, and I'm glad these talks are happening. I'm glad they're progressing, and that was the key word in some of those articles, that it's progressing. So it's going down. It's something that's gonna happen. We just don't know what yet.
Heck yeah.
And this is and you know that this is serious, especially when two teams are talking. It wasn't like a year ago when supposedly the Yankees were in on Brian Reynolds. I don't think they were. I mean, there was a little bit of seriousness, but I don't think it wasn't to this extent.
No, it was nowhere near this extent.
Yeah.
And that's the other thing with Yamamoto. You and I also spoke about this, Jason, and you and I did too, NFE.
Mm-hmm.
But the fact that they have withheld the number 18, went to see him twice. He threw a no-hitter the very first time the Yankees sent their front office guys out there. And then you see the picture of him donning a Yankees hat.
Yeah.
A picture says 1,000 words. And if that doesn't say something, I don't know what does. And for the simple fact that the Yankees have withheld that number 18 for him means that they know something that no one else knows, and they're not saying it.
And they're the only team withholding number 18. They're also the only team that has a monument park that they could take on a tour of. Okay? There's unique characteristics that the Yankees have an advantage over other teams, and I would be exposing that. If I would make sure Cole is there, I would make sure Tanaka's there. Okay? And Tanaka, he had number 19 when he came in, out of respect for Hiroki Kuroda, who had number 18 as the next year. So, but either way, they had two studs here from Japan. Now Yamamoto's going to be next in line. Now, Met has a question for us. What if Yamamoto surprises people and goes to a weird team like the Cubs, Giants, Seattle? What can the Yankees do pitching-wise if that? I'll just put it this way: if they're gonna make this Soto deal happen, then they're dead serious about winning. Then I would expect them to quickly pivot. If Yamamoto, for someone doesn't come here, quickly pivot to Montgomery, Imanaga, somebody like that. I can't see them paying $200 million for Blake Snell.
No,
at 30 years old. Montgomery will cost probably $50-60 million less. He's got experience here.
Yep.
Proven in the postseason.
Yep.
I would see the quick pivot for pitcher, either Imanaga or Montgomery. What's your take, Chris the Flash? What's your take, man?
I don't know if we can't get Yamamoto. I mean, there's pitchers out there in the market that we could trade for. I mean, like Shane Bieber,
the Guardian.
Corbin
Burns.
So there's plenty of pitchers. I mean, we can get Jordan Montgomery back. I mean, I know it's not the sexy move, but there's plenty of pitchers out there.
Yep.
Yeah, and he's got familiarity too in New York. He's experienced here. He's played in the postseason. He's got his ring now with Texas. He's proven he can perform in the postseason. He's durable, which not every Yankee starter is. He's durable. And again, he'd be a good compliment to Garrett Cole and the rest of these guys.
Absolutely.
So, I would not be upset if they brought back Montgomery.
No.
If he was the guy that they brought in because they couldn't get Yamamoto, I'd be fine with that. And then they'll still give these young guys an opportunity to still be part of this rotation and get a shot. Montgomery and Thorpe, Montgomery and Ham, whatever. Montgomery and Schmidt, Montgomery and King. Like, you can go a lot of things here.
I will say this offseason will be one of the most historic off seasons in this team's history since the 08-09 one, when they got Marte, Swisher, Teixeira, CC, and AJ. I think they are going to absolutely unload this year to do everything they can to prevent another embarrassment of a season that like what they had last year.
Yeah, true. Well, shout out to Tats, by the way. Yes, I would bring Ichiro here as well. To Yamamoto, man. Absolutely. It's like the Michael Jordan of Japan.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Man, I had another question here. What do we think of Imanaga or Edward Cabrera? I mean, Imanaga is considered the number 2 pitcher in Japan behind Yamamoto. He also is the guy that pitched Japan into the win in the final of the World Baseball Classic against Team USA. He held Team USA down to 2 runs. So
I think Imanaga is probably going out to California to either the Angels or the Giants. That's where I think he'll go. Yeah,
I can see that. The Giants have struck out way too many times, like whiffed on so many star players. I could see them getting several moves. I can't see. They have so many outfielders out there. I just can't see, like a Soto or Bellinger going out. They passed on Bellinger last year for Conforto performance, so I can't see Bellinger going to the Giants either. So, Ulysses, Matsui too. I would have his all hands on deck, Ulysses. All hands on deck, man, to get Yamamoto.
Yep. All hands on deck, and they need to roll out that red carpet treatment, that 5-star treatment for them. He needs to be wined and dined Yankee style. He's got to be taken to Monument Park. He's got to be taken to the clubhouse, to the field, everywhere in Yankee Stadium. He has to be taken to show him what this team is about, what this team means, the history behind this team. You need to have Judge, Cole, and every single Japanese player that has played here, you need to have with us.
Yeah. Hell yeah. Now, Illuminati saying Bauer and Giolito with our coaching staff would be very interesting. I think Giolito would be less drama-packed than Bauer. But again, these guys, into my opinion, would be secondary options. Like, if we got Yamamoto and we wanted to add another guy, then I would consider one of these guys. I would not get either one of these guys instead of Yamamoto. Or I wouldn't do that. Yamamoto is obviously the get on the pitching side.
Yeah, those two, Bauer and Giolito, are secondary to Yamamoto.
Yeah.
I know a lot of there's been some Yankees fans asking for Bauer. But I don't know how you all feel about that. I personally, I would maybe.
I'm on the fence about it.
I'm 1 year
because of Matt Blake.
I'm on the fence about it because I think he comes with too much baggage, and we don't need that. You also have to think about the whole situation with Cole. You don't want to piss off Cole because that's going to open a whole nother can of worms. So I'm completely on the fence about it, and I don't know if I would be willing to even give him a year because of that.
It's just, if anybody pitching coach could make wonders with one of those guys, I think it's Matt Blake. But I do agree that Bauer probably comes with a little bit too much drama, and I don't think the Yankees want to go down that road. I think they'd have to clear with Cole first, and probably Judge as well. More specifically, Cole. I think there's several obstacles that need to be cleared, and then has he been officially reinstated by MLB yet? I don't know. He's been cleared criminally. Good for him, and hopefully that girl's held accountable that screwed him over. Yes. But I think at the end of the day, it's probably going to be a pass for Bauer. But he's still showing the ability to get dudes out. But I do think he's pining to get a job at MLB. But I think he'd be better off in a smaller, low pressure market. The New York media would probably eat him alive.
I'm gonna say this: if Bauer doesn't get another shot, what does that? Man, what's that noise?
Sorry, that's the bell. I'm on the ship.
So if Bauer doesn't get another shot because somebody potentially lied about him, putting his hands on her and stuff like that. What is that saying with like guys like Chapman and Herman and them when they get another chance and he doesn't?
Yeah, I do. I also think that the MLB, maybe man for the commissioner, they wanted to make an example out of Bauer. And like Domingo, and he served the suspension. Chapman served his ban as well, and Bauer's ban was cut in half. And again, I'm not arguing that. And he's been criminally cleared, so there's been like he didn't do criminally what they said that he did. So that was a terrible thing, and he lost tens of millions of dollars.
Yep.
I mean that's an unfortunate fact, and it's never going to get that bad money back. So, but you're right about that. Like, what if just like Pete Rose, he's banned for life for betting on baseball, and he didn't even do it as a player. One of the greatest hitters to ever live, and he's banned from the Hall of Fame because of what he did as a manager. I don't understand that logic.
There is no logic to it.
Passed away. They're gonna wait till he passed away, and it's gonna be too late.
Yeah, I'll get this posthumous. Yeah, it's just ridiculous. You know what I mean? It's just I mean, yes, Sean. Rape allegations carry more weight apparently than domestic violence. Yeah, they do. True. But allegations of rape are terrible, especially. But I think the person who creates the allegations, if you turn out to be a lie, that person should be held accountable more than the person that's been accused. Period. Mm-hmm. That person should go to prison for 20, 30 years. Destroyed somebody's life. That. And the allegations, it'll destroy somebody's life. It could prevent them from getting a job. Like, it could do so many things.
So, Jason, can I pose a question to the panel? Because I think that there's a piece that I've brought up, but we haven't spoken about.
Good.
The Miami Marlins have a young 20-year-old pitcher by the name of Yuri Perez. I have brought him up on several occasions. Mm-hmm. They are looking for catching depth because they just cut Jacob Stallings.
Yep.
Why not package a guy like Gleyber Torres and Kyle Higashioka and a couple of prospects for Yuri Perez? That way, Miami gets their catcher. Miami gets a second baseman. They can put Luis Arias at first. They don't have to put him at second. And we get another pitcher. The kid is 20 years old. He is 6'4", 6'5", about the same weight as Crochet. He's a right-handed pitcher, but he has not exceeded the rookie limit. So he is still under team control for the next 6 years. He throws.
Control, by the way, gang, that team control doesn't start until you put on the 40-man roster.
He throws from 97 to 99, topping out at 101, with a devastating changeup, more like a Johan Santana changeup, with a nasty slider to go along with that. Why not try to go that route if you can't go and get a Crochet?
Well, I would agree. I would also probably ask for AJ Puck, left-handed reliever, because we're giving them a lot for Yuri Perez. So I wouldn't want Puck if I can get both. If I can get that starter and the reliever back here, we'll give them that. I'd feel better about that trade.
That would be the only player on Miami, and this is just me. That would be the only player on Miami that I would give Gleyber Torres for.
Fair enough. That's fair.
Yeah,
because I don't know if you.
Said.
I don't know if you guys saw that video I sent of Yuri Perez's highlights.
Oh, I saw that video, man. He looked like a stud. He looked like a stud. He kind of reminded me of Pedro Martinez.
Yeah,
the way he pitched.
I was about to say that.
He looked like a Pedro Martinez. I was like, whoa. I feel like I'm watching Pedro pitching right now.
Yep. So imagine that at the back end of that rotation. You get Cole, Yamamoto, Rodon, and then you have Perez at the number 4 or number 5, depending if you keep Schmidt. I can't argue with that. I can't even be mad about that.
Would you consider Luzardo and Puck?
No. No, I would not.
You
Not-
go Perez and Puck?
I would do Perez and Puck, but not Luzardo and Puck. Now, if you're going to give me Luzardo and maybe a couple prospects with Puck, okay. But I'm reaching to find. I'm trying to find a way to get the best possible pitching that I can for next year if I'm serious about winning. And Perez is that guy for me.
I don't want anything to do with former A's pitchers.
No, A's not.
So Lazard could stay in Miami.
Exactly. That's exactly right. You are 100% right, Chris.
Because we get burned. By every time we get a pitcher from them, we get burned. I'm good.
Yep. Yeah.
I'm straight.
But yeah, I didn't know if you guys saw that video of his highlights, but he looked like a young Pedro
he pitches like
Martinez.
Pedro. Yep.
Man,
He's got that demeanor, that cool demeanor, which is what we need in New York. We need a guy like that. We have a guy like that, but we need another guy like that to sandwich everyone else in between.
Interesting. Yeah, I mean, if you can get Perez and Puck, left-handed reliever and power starter, and with all those years of control, I mean, if you can do it, and I think this is where you infuse these cheap players, right? This is why I keep saying Brendan Donovan, because, like, if they don't get, let's just say they don't get Bellinger, I'd be pivoting hard to Brendan Donovan really quickly, right? And they get Soto and Brendan Donovan, even if they get a Kevin Kiermaier, too. Think about Brendan Donovan, too. We have, all right, so after this year, Rizzo comes off the books. So does Donaldson. Wow, that's $25 million. Next year, after that, Hicks comes off the books finally. 2 more years at $10 million. Brendan Donovan comes with 4 years of control, right? At the end of his 4 years of control, Giancarlo Stanton comes off the books. He's cleared a boatload of money, so that if you want to up him in free agency, you can do that too, Brendan Donovan. He'll only be 29 at that point. So, and it kind of lines up with the timeline of guys coming off the books. The Yankees. So, and to me, I think he's got to be considered here, Brendan Donovan.
And that's the thing. I think guys like that and a guy like Yuri Perez make more sense than going for just one guy in a crochet. Because if you can add another guy on, so a guy like a Donovan or a Perez, now you're cooking with gas. And that's what we need to do, because we need to get younger. We've got too many old, broken down, out of prime years guys on this team. Yeah. And we want to get the best out of the best years of Cole and Judge that we can before they come out of their prime. And you don't want to waste that by getting guys who are not going to do much of anything at all. So that's why I'm proposing guys like a Puck or a Perez or a Donovan because of that, because they have controllable years, because they are younger.
Yeah. Would the Marlins put Torres at? I mean, leave it Torres at DH because they have Arias. Probably.
They could even put Arias at first, because Arias played first last year for them.
Mm-hmm. They could do that too. You add Torres' bat to Arias' skill set, that's a boost to their offense significantly.
They also get Higashioka, which they need a catcher. They already came out and said that. Plus, they've already been linked to Torres, because if you remember a couple of years back, the Yankees and the Marlins almost had a deal for Pablo Lopez and Gleyber Torres.
Yeah.
Until they wanted Peraza, and then that's what cut the deal off.
Yeah, I remember that. By the way, gang, another American League East player, Randy Arozarena, has been on the trading block today. The Rays put him on the trading block today.
We're not going to get him. I can guarantee you that much. I don't think they're going to.
He'd be good for the Mets, Marlins.
You know who I could see getting him?
Who?
This is going to sound really odd because of who they've got, but I could see a team like the Texas Rangers getting him.
Oh, Jesus. Oh, that's stuff, bro.
Think about that for a second. If they're desperate to go back-to-back for championships, think about it.
Adding a piece like that, yeah. Who do they
adding a piece like that.
Simeon.
Carter.
Oh, God.
They got that Adolis Garcia in the outfield too.
Adolis Garcia. Oh, God.
Especially if they're trying to jump the Astros. Think about that for a second. Desperate teams will do desperate things.
Yeah, D-Rod says Seattle too. Seattle's a good fit for Rosarena too. You know?
Yeah.
Well, what about Philly?
Philly?
Yeah, Philly.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's just true too. I mean, they did put Cashman on the trading block, Philly.
Mm-hmm.
I like a Rosarena, but I was going to say the Yankees don't need another righty bat.
Yeah. Shit.
And this is Roberts.
Guess what? The Braves signed 2 more pieces. 2 more pitching pieces.
Oh.
They signed Penn Murphy and Jackson Stevens.
Who's that?
It's on MLB Trade Rumors.
I'm checking it out right now.
What do we know
Penn
about
Murphy, Jackson Stevens, 2 major league deals. Okay.
Major league deals? Okay.
Yeah.
2 more pieces to that
They
bullpen.
keep adding arms, man. They keep adding arms, the Braves, man. Damn.
I'm telling you, I really think they are a dark horse for Montgomery. They want a front of the line starter, and if they miss out on Montgomery, they're going to pivot. And I'm telling you now, they're probably going after Cease if they miss out on Montgomery. And even if they don't try to go for Montgomery, they'll go after Cease.
Well, there's a lot of talk about Cease right now. There's apparently talks are heating up about Dylan Cease. So Braves are involved in that conversation. So I wouldn't be surprised if you hear something by the end of the week.
But the beat writers are saying the next 48 hours he might be moved. So
what if the Braves trade for Bieber?
They could trade for Bieber too.
They could.
They're gonna get somebody. They're gonna get a frontline starter.
Here's a team that
Bieber has.
I got a team that could. I got a team that could use Bieber or would trade for him.
Who?
Dodgers. They're in the market for. They need pitching. They're in the market for pitching. They might lose out. They might lose out on seats to the Braves.
Yeah.
Why not?
True. John, you trolling us here, man? Desperate times call for Justin May getting a call to Houston for Altuve. Are you crazy?
Are you out of your mind?
To me, he is trolling.
For a guy that
sounds like trolling.
Yeah.
Sounds like a troll.
Not even the best second baseman in the Jesus.
Jason knows what we do with trolls.
Yeah.
Zap.
Right, man. Justin
Bieber concert at the stadium.
Possibly. All stay away from Bieber and Cease. The Illuminati's telling us to stay away. I mean, I could see us staying away from Giolito, honestly.
Yeah.
I'm good.
Cease.
The Reds might go after him because they're also in the market for starters.
Yeah, they are.
If I had to go between Cease and Bieber, personally, I would go Dylan Cease.
Absolutely.
I want Bieber.
Oh, 100%.
I don't want Bieber.
I want Bieber. I do with Matt Blake. I'm telling you, when it comes to Matt Blake, I'm sorry. Like, that's his guy, too.
Mm-hmm.
So,
I understand.
I'm just saying. I like Cease, but because we got Matt Blake, I'd rather Bieber.
Yeah.
I could see that, too. Somebody asked what about Marcus Stroman? I think, honestly, I think it's a head case. I don't think it'd be a fit in New York, but
no. I
could see Stroman going to Baltimore, Boston.
I would love him with Boston.
I mean,
I got Lourdes Gurriel going to Boston.
Gurriel going to Boston?
Yeah.
I could see that.
Oh, he's getting paid.
Hey, Booyah asked about a trade proposal here to us.
Where is it?
What is it?
Would I trade Nestor Cortez, Clark Schmidt, Everson? Would we trade Cortez, Schmidt, and Pereira for Soto? I would. We don't have to give up any.
I would do that.
I would do that. I don't know if the Padres would do that, though, because I think
we're not giving up. Oh, go ahead.
Because I don't think that I would do that personally. I don't think the Padres would, because I think they want 3 to 4 controllable major league or close to major league ready pitchers. As much as I would do that, I don't think the Padres would do it. I think they would want another pitcher added into that.
I mean, that's fine too.
Angelo's asking us, what do we think about Bregman? I'm a hard pass on Bregman.
No,
Nope.
hard pass. Hard
Nope.
pass on Bregman.
The guy's a douche.
If I'm gonna trade for a third baseman, and I'm gonna keep saying this, is Jay Brown. I'm sorry.
If he becomes available, there's going to be a
that's who I want.
Yankees would have to be at the top. They have to go hard after J.
Oh, absolutely. So if J. Ram is not available, Ryan McMahon of Colorado.
Man, too, yeah. Chicken Palm. Will we take a flyer on Clayton? Just so you know, Chicken Palm, Clayton Kershaw had shoulder surgery. He's going to be out until August. So we need pitching.
Pass on Kershaw.
Beginning of the season.
Yep.
So
I love Kershaw. He's going to be a Hall of Famer, but I would take it. I would pass.
Yeah,
but I can see what you're saying though, because that is a Cashman move. He like injury-prone players.
Well, yeah. I mean, I won't get too deep into that one, but
yeah, we'll go down a rabbit hole with that one real quick. We won't go there.
Oh man.
Padres would want more. Yeah, Padres would probably want more TD, yeah. Throw Jones in the package with Schmidt, Cortez, but hell no. You're going to put Spencer Jones and Thorpe in there?
No.
No way.
No.
No way.
No. Sorry.
Unfortunately.
Are we getting Machado with that or something?
Yeah, no kidding.
No.
Half of Machado's money, too?
Shit, I'll take Machado. If y'all want to give us him, I'll take him.
I would like to see if the Yankees go after Jeimer Candelario. And I've been saying this for a hot minute. Jason, you and I have talked about it. Chris, you and I have talked about it. NFE, you and I have talked about it. Why not sign Jeimer Candelario? He makes up for the loss for Torres. He's a switch hitter, I believe. He would come cheaper than Torres. And he could be sort of that stopgap until you do get a guy like an Arias or someone else who is major league ready.
Yeah.
I would do that, Tyler.
Candelario, the versatility, and he's only 29, puts the ball in play. He checks the boxes, a lot of boxes for the Yankees. And again, they've said it repeatedly, they need contact hitters, right? He's a contact hitter who can play solid defense too. He can play multiple infield positions as well. So it makes it easier to move Torres for pitching when you bring in guys like this.
I wouldn't do Torres.
You can play him at third and play DJ at second if you want.
Yeah.
Like, you can do a lot of things.
I would not do Torres and Higgy for Cabrera and Puck. I wouldn't do that. I think I love Edward Cabrera. Don't get me wrong. I think he is a phenomenal pitcher. But again, I don't think that Torres would be a piece I would include in that. I would give him Higgy and 2 or 3 prospects, but I would not give him Torres. Unless you're going to add Yuri Perez in that deal, you're not getting Torres from me.
Okay.
Very hard set on that.
All right, Cashman.
Fair enough. That's fair. This guy's got a conviction in that one, man.
I know. You heard that, huh?
Dude. You're out in the sea right now, right?
No, I'm not out to sea yet. Tomorrow.
Where are you? Well, I don't even know if you're allowed to tell us where you're at. But...
No, I'm not. Unfortunately.
That's all right. Oh, good. Just be safe, dude. Be safe. How long are you out for?
A few days.
Okay. Not too bad.
No. It's better than my deployment, which was 10 months.
Jesus.
Yeah.
Jesus.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Would we trade Torres for a pitcher if we did not get Yamamoto? If you didn't get Yamamoto, then yeah, I would be pursuing like Mike said too. Like try that. That's where you really go hard after like a Yuri Perez and an AJ Puck or something like that. Because Yamamoto would be a big game, but it would also be a big loss. And we want to replace him somehow. So, when you get a young, controllable pitcher like Perez, you get a controllable reliever. Yeah, I would definitely move Torres for starting pitching. If we got Yamamoto.
Does Milwaukee need a second baseman?
What's that?
Does Milwaukee need a second baseman?
I don't know. They got Willie
If they
Adames.
do,
He's a shortstop though.
They might.
if they do, I'm telling you, Corbin Burns is that dude.
He's also been linked right now to Dodgers. Him and that Adames been linked to the Dodgers. Two Burns.
Yeah,
So
I've heard that.
For that. But I might fear with Burns. He's got one more year left, and he's going to become crazy expensive. So like $30 million a year expensive.
Hey, Jason.
Yo.
I'm gonna run, call my kids, tell them good night before I get out of here. But thank you for having me on.
Always a pleasure, brother. We'll wrap it up in a few minutes, too, guys.
But
always a pleasure, man.
You gotta let me know if I'm sure you guys will put it in the group chat. But if not, I'll find out one way or another. But hopefully, sooner rather than later, they get the Soto deal done. They get Yamamoto. That'll be a nice coming home present. But anyways, guys, thank you so much, and I'll catch you guys next time.
All right, brother. Peace, man.
See
you later, bro.
Later, brother.
When we find out, you'll find out.
Facts.
Yep.
Somebody just mentioned, where do we see the Yankees getting for two outfielders? If they don't get Soto or Bellinger, could be a Gurriel and a Kiermaier. Could be a Gurriel and a Lee. Could be a trade for like maybe an outfielder from the Cardinals or something like that. I think it could be a number of things.
If we do not get Soto or Bellinger, like say we don't get neither of them, I would pivot to what Jason said. If Chicago's looking to trade their pieces, call up for Roberts.
Yeah, call for Luis Robert. Yeah, man.
Luis Robert.
I would go after Luis Robert, and I would go after freaking Garrett Crochet, the reliever.
Fact.
Definitely. I would definitely go
all day.
And still try to get Kevin Kiermaier as a stopgap until Jason Dominguez is here. So, like Luis Robert's a freak, man. So I would love to have him if we could. I don't care if he's not a lefty. Not for Luis Robert. He is an absolute monster. So,
he's a special player.
Yes, he is.
Yeah.
And again, Kevin Kiermaier, one of the Yankees are one of the worst teams in baseball at hitting right-handed pitchers. Kevin Kiermaier is one of the best. So he checks a lot of these boxes that the Yankees don't currently check too. So I'd be happy with Kiermaier. He's got an elite glove too. So
did he bat like 270?
About 270 or something like that. But he's got timely hitting too. He hits at the right times. He hits it. He kills the American League East pitching.
Some people said they don't want him on the team, but I'm like, did y'all not see us hit? Because he's probably the third best hitter on our team.
He would be an upgrade, number one. And look at how many 300 hitters are in baseball. Not many, maybe a dozen.
No.
So I'm looking at his batting average for 2023, and it was 265.
Yeah, and again, he's known for timely hits.
Mm-hmm.
Timely hits and timely plays, and I'll take that over 290. He's got an elite glove. He's got speed, so he checks a lot of boxes for the Yankees. So, was this Henry Kissinger passed on to the next plane today? Did Henry Kissinger?
He passed away today. Yeah, he was 100 years old.
Rest in peace. Jimmy Carter, the former president, is 99. He's knocking on the door of 100 too.
Yeah, his wife just passed away.
Yeah, the other day I saw that. Yeah,
that's it.
Yeah,
not to get too much into politics, but
no, I mean, it's just you get your 99 or 100, man. That's God bless you. God bless you, man. Shoot, with no Illuminati saying here, with no defensive shift, we need a strong defense in the middle. Wells, Volpe, Peraza, Dominguez, present and future, Jones, Judge. Yeah, that's a lot of good defense right there. A lot of good
defense. but I'm sorry to say this, but I don't think Peraza is gonna be part of this team.
I don't know yet. I'm not ruling him out yet. I don't know.
I don't know. I just have this feeling like they don't want to play the man. I just feel like they're gonna trade him.
He's got to play a full season to really for us to give him a better judgment, because he hasn't. Yeah, he there was a lot of inconsistency in his play at major league level. So
and they let Volpe have his growing pains for the whole season. I would let Peraza do his thing. So, and he's an above average elite major league level defensive glove. So
what's the key? We would do that. I don't think they would do that.
Well, that's true too.
Yeah.
I'm predicting. I have a crazy prediction that that Peraza will be the starting second baseman.
I hope.
Meaning you think Torres gets moved?
I think Torres does get moved. I don't know when, but I think Torres does get moved.
All right.
And Booyah, no. Absolutely not.
Black man, maybe 6-7 years ago, but not now. He's like, I think he might be like 37 years old, something like
He's
that.
37 years old. I would have considered him 10 years ago. I would have been like, hell yeah, let's do it.
It's not even. It's not even that, y'all. Like, y'all seen a door without the beard? Just imagine him without the beard.
And Kiermaier wants to be a Yankee. This is true too. So, like,
yeah,
I'll take it. Right. Come on. I mean, what about Chris Bryant? I worry about his staying healthy, and he's also not a lefty hitter. So, I like Chris Bryant, but I worry about him.
Mm-hmm.
I really do. You've been dealing with a lot of Gulf War illness. What is this? Gulf War. And shout out to you, retired war vet, by the way.
What's up, retired war vet?
Dealing with a lot of Gulf War illness issues lately. What's the latest solid rumor regarding the Yankees' top 3 Yankee targets? No, you haven't heard today. It was reported today that the Yankees and Padres have started exchanging names in a Soto trade. That's a big discovery. And we just saw a picture 2 days ago of Yamamoto wearing a Yankee hat. So on an Oryx Buffalo is his team's official Twitter, verified Twitter. That's another thing we heard, Warvet, or we saw. And what else have we heard? Well, Bellinger. I mean, I think Bellinger's the one, and I think Scott Boras is in a little bit of tuffy because I think he either wants to resolve the situation for Boras quickly so that he can pivot to Bellinger so that Bellinger can be the top free agent on the market and not have to worry about anybody else. Or, he's worried one way or the other in terms of Soto or Bellinger. But if I'm him, I'm like, you have the 2 best guys, right? The 2 best offensive bats. Both of them. You represent both. I mean, I would want to secure the Soto trade now and try to get him locked up and then pivot to Bellinger as quickly as possible. And again, get my guy traded or signed and extended early so that I could start pivoting to my next batch of clients. Like, that's what I would. And then you have a chance to make history here. And I know you want to get the right deals, the biggest deals for your clients. Well, you have a team called the Yankees that's willing to, sounds like they're willing to fork over money to make that happen. So I want to try to capitalize. And this guy's the Jedi master of sports agents. If anybody could do it, it's him.
Can I shout out a couple people? So Pete and Bobby did a thing the other day, and I kind of agree with them. I don't see Bellinger having a market, just like how Carlos Rodon didn't have one, and Brian Cashman saved Scott Boris's butt and gave Carlos Rodon $200-something million. I feel the same way with Bellinger. I feel like Bellinger don't have a market, and I feel like he's gonna call Brian Cashman and say, "Give me what you got."
Cashman can probably get him at 7. I don't think I saw the 12-year thing been floating around. That's MLBTradeRumors.com prediction.
Yeah.
So I don't think he's going to ask for 12. I don't think he's going to get 12. If he can get him for like 7 years, $175, like kind of an Aaron Nola type contract, I would be all over that. If Cashman.
And if you're complaining about his health, just throw an option in there. The option is not going to kill nobody.
Yeah, or an opt-out. And again, if you look at his injury history, the majority of his most recent injuries, with the exception of COVID, he had a long bout of COVID, but were lower body injuries. If we take him out of the outfield and move him to first base to replace Rizzo, you're taking a stress off his legs, right? Putting him in a safer position, probably preserve his health a little bit more. So you have that advantage for a Bellinger too. And I hope that they take advantage of that. I really do. So, but you're right about that. His market could be non-existent right now, and that could be something that Scott Boras is worried about.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, well, shit, if everybody's thinking of Soto, Bellinger doesn't have a market. Well, not necessarily. Because the Yankees, and I'm confident they'd be like, help us get Soto done. And then we'll focus on Bellinger. We'll take care of Bellinger. I'm confident that the only team that'll do that be the Yankees. So, like David Cohen saying, sound like the Mets want Imanaga and Yamamoto. So I don't know if you heard this, David Cohen, earlier. And I can put out I'll put out a video tomorrow. I'll attach the article in it. But the Mets acknowledged today that they're basically, Soto's not a fit. They're not going to invest in Soto. So the chances of them investing in like a Yamamoto are probably not very high. Imanaga I could see over Yamamoto, but it sounds like Imanaga might go west. But I don't know. But I'm not sure that they signed Luis Severino today, the Mets, for 1 year, $13 million. So if they're gonna go either one of those guys, it's probably going to be Imanaga. I don't think they're going to spend like $25 or $30 million on Yamamoto and $32 million on Severino. I mean, I think they made 2 mistakes last year with Verlander and Scherzer, and like they were lucky to get out of those deals. So, and actually get some capital back in prospects. So I think they're going to have a different approach this season. And they still have to extend or decide to extend or trade Pete Alonso.
Yep.
So they've got moves that they need to decide on. And Reggie, yeah, I think the Bryant contract's too big. It's huge. So not winning it. I wouldn't say that true. Depends on who they get this year. DJ's not really. I mean, once Sean Casey came here, DJ kind of perked back up. He responded better to. I think a lot of veterans responded better to Sean Casey than they did Dylan Lawson. So DJ's got a lot of baseball left in him. He's got 3 years left on his deal, so I think he'll be okay. Let me see what else here. We need politics to cheer us up about our pathological hatred of Cashman. I don't know if everybody shares the pathological hate of Cashman, but the people that generally do are the ones that peddle politics all the time.
All I'm gonna say is whether you love Cashman or hate him, he's the GM. He's here, so he ain't going nowhere. Sorry.
Yeah, exactly. And Brad Osmond's, he said in the Zoom yesterday that Cashman wasn't really the problem, and he hasn't really given him a reason to doubt him. And Zach Britton, former Yankee player, yesterday said he had a problem with the analytics, but Cashman and Boone were not the problems. So,
I'll say this. The only thing I got a problem with Cashman, because I don't hate him. The only problem I do have, you gotta check his ego at the door sometimes.
Well, what do you mean by that?
Like trying to finagle other teams. Oh, give me your best players. I want to win the trade. That's not gonna happen.
They do that. That's what GMs do. That's their job.
I know, but I'm just saying though. Like he gotta. Sometimes, like you said, to give up something. Like to get a good play, you got to give up something that's gonna hurt. You can't always expect. I know. No, I'm saying because he usually thinks, oh, this and this and this, and it's like sometimes you got to give up something that's gonna hurt. I know you don't want to, and that's the prospect hugging thing all over again.
And you know what's crazy too? That he recently was defending the free agent moves and not the prospects. He kind of did a George Steinbrenner thing. That's what George Steinbrenner used to do. He used to get rid of all his prospects for major league players or trades and blah blah blah. Cashman did the opposite, and then when he went on his so-called rant or tirade where people were so outraged over this non-scandal that he kind of pivoted to he echoed George Steinbrenner for a little bit there, and which is kind of crazy. But I understand what you're saying, Lucas. I also think there's a lot of other egomaniacs who spend a lot of time. Cashman an egomaniac. So, and that's what a lot of folks will ask Cashman to make these moves, and then when Cashman makes the moves and they don't work, they trash Cashman for the moves that they asked him to make, and they don't take any ownership of that.
And see, that's the crazy thing. Like everybody wanted Joey Gallo. Yeah, everybody wanted Joey Gallo. Don't get me wrong. I wanted Joey Gallo. I knew he couldn't cut it after a while, but I can't blame Cashman for that because we all did want Joey Gallo.
We also wanted Benintendi. We also wanted Montez after they didn't get Castillo. We also wanted Rodon. Like fans and content creators, YouTubers were begging him to get these guys. And then when it didn't work out, Cashman's a shit GM. He's the worst GM ever.
But Cashman does need to understand too. Yes, we wanted those players, but we also wanted Harper, Machado. I'm trying to think who else. Who we could have traded for? Just a Verlander when he was available from Detroit. Like it's the moves that he doesn't make too that kind of upsets us too, and which is fine.
And to your point too, that and I think this is important for people to understand. The fans' expectations are not Cashman's obligations.
No.
Cashman cannot do whatever he wants anytime he wants. And a lot of fans need to understand that. Just because they're the Yankees doesn't mean they can outspend everybody anytime they want. That's not the way it works. They're profitable, yes. The most valuable, yes. But they also have like 20 partners that they have to get a piece of the pie. So Cashman and Hal, or Hal and Randy Levine, they're not sitting in the amount of money that Steve Cohen might be sitting on. So the spending there is different. They also pay out more in revenue sharing than any other team in baseball. It's teams that just pocket the money. So like, and people don't seem to factor this stuff in. And I know they hate when I factor it in, right? Because they think they call me Cashman lover, Cashman defender. Just because I don't trash him every day doesn't mean I'm a Cashman lover. And again, if you're
look
gonna
at Chicken Parm's comment.
What's that?
Chicken Parm's comment.
Oh, I missed it. Sorry. Randy Levine.
Right.
Yes. Well, he's true. Randy Levine has a problem with Cashman. Yeah. He tends to be a little bit jabroni, Randy Levine. He's got jabroni.
I'm not a big Randy Levine fan.
I'm not either. And again, but I understand people's trashing Cashman. But like I said before, like if you're gonna trash them, do it to their face, number one. All right? Or get them on here and do it on the screen so they can come back and talk to you and respond to you. If you're not going to do it, it's completely coward bullshit. You're going to talk tough, back it up. Period.
Nah, we want to be like, what's that dude? What was that dude's name? Wells?
David Wells?
The one that came on the stream on the comments the other day.
Oh.
And just kept running, trolling, saying he could beat people up.
Who was that guy that we told him he should have gone on the Mets? And I forget, what was his name again? Will.
I thought it was a devil.
Oh, Will Zimmerman?
Will Zimmerman, that's the guy. That's him, baby. He was talking a lot of stuff, threatening people and all these types of things. Yeah.
He still hasn't accepted my invitation to the Mets. I'm a little sad.
It's like, dude, this is why, like, NFL, we talk about this. We laugh about these people.
Oh, we do, bro.
It's a comical thing, man. It really is.
And I was gonna say real quick, the one player that I'm not gonna lie that I did wish the Yankees signed that I wish Cashman had gotten was Corey Seager.
Seager would have been nice.
Yes,
Seager would have been awesome. I would have loved to have had Corey Seager. I was one of those guys, honestly, and I'm probably gonna get a lot of crap for this, but I wasn't really too high on Bryce Harper. Don't ask me why. I just wasn't. And when he did get Tommy John surgery, imagine if he got it when he was playing for the Yankees. Imagine the fans' reactions. I'm just saying.
It'd be different. It's different here. It's a different venom. It's a different expectation here. And we understand it comes with the territory. But, and I think it's important to level some type of sense of perspective.
I wanted Machado.
Yeah, a lot of people wanted Machado too. I really bummed out that I didn't get him, but I got over it pretty quickly. I'm not going to spend my, this. People are bitching about it 5 years later.
Yeah,
we're 5 years out, and you're still complaining about Bryce Harper.
I wanted Machado as well, but honestly, I'm glad they didn't get him because apparently he's got an attitude problem, so he's kind of got an ego.
Who's that, Harper?
Machado.
Oh yeah.
So I have heard that about Machado, but like you said, Jason, it's been 5 years. I mean, time it's gone now. So it's like, what can the Yankees do now? What actions can they take now?
They have, and you're right. And they have a prime opportunity in front of them. This is the deepest the free agent class has been in a long time. Not only with guys that are free agents, but guys that were not originally free agents who are now either opted out or non-tendered, or guys with controllable years who can be moved. Like there's endless opportunities for teams like the Yankees who have a lot of needs that need to be addressed. And Soto and Bellinger doesn't address all the needs. Soto and Yamamoto doesn't address all the needs. They still have multiple holes. So they do have to, address several areas, unfortunately. And It's just,
Yankees are going. Oh,
go ahead, man.
nah, real quick. I was just going to say, Yankees are going to acquire a few players for sure this offseason.
Yeah,
I mean,
Jesus.
that's for a fact. But Hal has also made it known that he also wants to build from within the organization too. So he's serious about that.
Yeah, I mean, again, like credit to Cashman for building the farm back up. Back up. And got to give him credit for that. Like I said, I give him credit where it's due. You criticize him when it's due. You give him credit where it's due. It's got to go both ways, in my opinion. So, otherwise, I should just change the name to, instead of 161 whatever, Cashman sucks ass or whatever. But I'm not going to change. You know what I mean? Name your channel that, but I'm not going to do that. But it's like, yeah, Sean, Brendan Dunham's definitely an option. Like I was saying earlier,
hell yeah,
he's got 4 years of control on the cheap. 1 more pre-arb, 3 more arb. By the time his 4 years are up, Stanton will be off the books in 4 years. So you'll have so much money coming off the books over the next 4 years in increments that you can afford guys like Donovan and some other guys. And by then you'll have Volpe will only be like 25 years old.
That's crazy.
Yeah, Peraza, 26 years old. Like these guys will be super young. So they'll be in a good position. They really would be.
Along with Brendan Donovan, would you want Burleson too? As like a depth piece?
If I had to pick between the two, to be honest with you, well, I had to pick 2 there. I mean, I'd say I'd take Donovan and probably Nolan Gorman.
That's
Donovan all day. Donovan all day.
All day. Yeah, Donovan is my number 1 there. And Burleson, I like his versatility too. But Nolan Gorman, I think, is the perfect complement to Brendan Donovan if they can do that. But it's going to cost a shit ton. But rightfully so.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. This is where you can make those types of trades if you have the prospect depth to do it, and you do it. So you replenish the farm in the draft, and you have more international. They already have an in on the top international free agent for next year. So Yankees are favorites for him again. So it will continue to restock.
And I want to say this too, because a lot of people's like, oh, we're not getting Bellinger because he's linked to compensation with the draft picks and the money and stuff like that. They could easily get that money back if they trade like Higgy or somebody. They can ask for something to get the top prospect. I think out of Dominican or something that they're looking at, another shortstop.
Dominican Republic, yep.
So
and again, if I were to trade,
stop you.
To your point too, if I was going to trade Higashioka, I would try to get international prospect money back to recoup what you'd have to give up, $1 million to give up to sign a guy like Bellinger who comes with a qualifying offer. It's $1 million and it's 2 draft picks. So at the very least, you can recoup some of the international money. So, and the only one guy I would sign with attached to a qualifying offer would be Cody Bellinger.
That's it. Yep.
But it's going to be really interesting. I mean, it really is going to be interesting. John and Angelo, I would pass on Hader. He's going to cost way too much money. Yariel Rodriguez is an intriguing one, possibly. I could see him going to Boston, to be honest with you, but I don't know.
I don't want to talk about Hader. I'm good.
Hader, yeah.
Yeah, we already beat that one a couple of nights ago.
I'm good.
I think it's a pass on Hader.
Yeah. Jason, did you see the After Dark? What I said? You can't tell somebody that you're not going to do something when you're trying to get paid.
Oh yeah, damn right.
Like you can't do that. I'm sorry, that's not logical.
It's true. Absolutely freaking amen to that, man. Benji, I don't think Verdugo's. I mean, it's possible, but I don't think it's going to happen.
No way.
I just can't see it.
I'll take Devers.
Man, not for Gleaver.
I'll take Devers, but I'm not. No, I'm good.
I was gonna say, check out Yassin. He put a proposal, a trade.
Let's see, where is he? What about a trade for Garrett and Nardi? Who's this guy Nardi?
Yeah, who's
Nardi?
That name does sound familiar.
Is he the infield? Is he the infielder for the Marlins? Mitch Keller and David Bednar, I could see. I don't know if the Pirates would move Mitch Keller. Bednar, I'd be all over. We talked about that earlier too. I'd be all over Bednar.
I said something about that. Yeah, I said so about the last stream I was on too. Like, I just feel like Bednar's the man. I mean, every time we get a Pittsburgh reliever, he does good for us.
He's a beast. He's a beast. Reggie Devers is Torres 2.0. Devers is a star.
So Nardi is a left-handed pitcher for the Marlins.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, so reliever or starter? Look at his workload, innings pitched, kind of per.
This man really just compared Devers to Torres.
Yeah, I don't. Devers is another.
Devers is on a different level, man. Yeah, Devers is on a much different level.
Devers is a beast.
So his MLB statistics through September 23rd of this year, he has a 9-2 record with a 4.19 ERA and 92 strikeouts.
How many innings pitched?
Yeah, so yep, I saw about that.
Innings pitched. So I'm trying to find it.
No, you good.
Yeah.
Jonathan saying the Yankees won't make moves until Yamamoto signs. I think
Soto first.
I think the Soto thing would be done before Yamamoto.
Yeah. I think I'm gonna keep saying this. I think Soto's gonna get done at the winter meetings.
I think so too.
So next week, you think?
Yeah.
Especially if they're already talking about names and stuff like that. I just feel like it's gonna get done.
They're progressing pretty quickly, so
mm-hmm.
Yeah, I pass Joseph. I pass on Hader because it's too much baggage attached to Hader too, unfortunately. So, Yelich isn't playing, but Yelich has like 7 years at like $25 million per left on his deal. I would pass on Yelich, to be honest with you. So I want a younger outfielder.
Yeah, I don't want Yelich. That's a lot of no.
I want to go younger.
How old is he? Like 31?
I think so. Yelich 5 years ago would have been a different story, but now Yelich at 31. Jordan Hicks, I could see it. I mean, he's an intriguing possibility too. He's got a good arm. Florial's, yeah, for how long, Reggie? I don't know. If they get 2 outfielders, Florial's gone. In my opinion.
That's another guy we haven't really talked about is Florial. What happens to him?
He's out of options, so I think he might be part of a trade. Again, because like if you get 2 outfielders, you're waiting for Dominguez to come back. Again, there's no room anywhere for Florial, unfortunately. So,
See, that's why I think Bellinger would be so perfect because he could play center field and first base,
and he can transition from the outfield to the infield over time to keep his legs. So, and he's a good fit. He's 28. I understand the concern. I understand the concerns about him getting help, but like if the argument, I said this the other day, if the argument is you're worried about his hard hit rate and you prefer a guy like Joey Gallo, when you compare them, it just Bellinger's stats dwarf Joey Gallo like in every category. So I don't really give a damn about hard hit rate. I mean, he's hitting the ball in a sweet spot a hell of a lot better than Gallo is. A lot more often than Gallo is. I care more about that. He's a contact hitter with speed. He's got an elite glove. He does all the things that Gallo did not do when you're here. So Gallo can hit the ball hard. Okay, great for him. But so can Bellinger, and Bellinger hits it more often.
Yeah, and another player that I was going to mention too, and somebody brought it up earlier. I meant to talk about it and ask was Oswaldo Cabrera.
He's another one like.
We haven't talked about him packaging him to trade for a piece. You can use him as a trade piece.
Yeah, like to me, they brought DJ to be the utility guy, and he turned. It's kind of that, and then Oswaldo Cabrera is like a young utility version, right? But I think he would. He's got trade value, and he's got 5 years of control of too. So I think he's he would be a valuable piece to move as well in a trade to get.
Yeah.
You know, you can even add him to the Soto deal. You can add him to that.
Tyler Talbot is saying bench player if he's here, which
or bench player. Yeah.
I could agree with that. Yeah, I could get
absolutely.
down with that.
And reward vet. Every time I read somewhere that Yamamoto wasn't going to meet physically, no. So he's doing his order is they're doing phone calls first with his agent this week, and then they're doing Zoom calls when they narrow it down. And then once they've decided who the finalists are, then they're going to meet with those teams. That's that order that Yamamoto and his agent have settled on. They have 45 days to agree to a deal with any team. If it doesn't happen in the 45-day period or by January 4th, which is the end of the 45, then he has to go back to Japan and he can't be posted again for a whole other year. That's the rules from the posting system in Japan. So
got it.
It's going to be really interesting.
Yeah. And I was going to say Andrew Nardi. So he's a left-handed pitcher. So this season he went 8-1, 2.67 ERA, pitched 57 innings.
Okay.
73 strikeouts. Pitched in,
I like lefty arms, and I think the Yankees need a lefty arm.
Yeah, Yankees need a lefty arm. So
he could be Wandy's replacement.
Yep. Yes, he could.
Oh, and he's 25. Like he's young.
Oh yes.
Yeah. So I would take that in a heartbeat if the Yankees were able to get him. Let's see what else. I'm just trying to find out. Yeah,
I don't think Wandy's coming back anyway because I think he's going to get paid.
Yeah, and he's
I could see Wandy going to the Cardinals. I could see him going to Cubs. I could see him going to a couple of teams.
Dodgers, possibly?
Dodgers, yeah. There's a couple of logical teams for him. We don't know yet, Reggie, if Wandy's coming back. I think he'll get a 2 or 3 year deal somewhere.
If Wandy was to come back, I would welcome him back. Honestly,
yeah. I mean, if you want to come back, I'd welcome him. He was a reliable piece here too.
He was a reliable pitcher. I think he got overused, and I think he got burnt. He got burnt out, and that's something that's been a concern actually over the last couple of seasons with the Yankees. Like, yeah, they have an amazing bullpen, but they're relying too much on these guys, and these guys get burnt out by midseason.
Yeah. And I think you're right. I think it's a byproduct of two things.
Yeah.
My opinion is number one, too many injuries in the bullpen, which is forcing these guys to work more. And some starters not named Garrett Cole not giving length, which is making the relievers have to work more. So, which is why I'm a proponent of moving guys like Nestor Cortes to the bullpen for long relief. And some of these other guys, because the long relief is a good bridge from the starters to the short inning guys.
Yeah, and Schmidt showed a lot of improvement, in the, towards the mid to second half of the season, right?
Mm-hmm.
He started to show improvement. So if they get, if Rodon can pitch better next year, and you have your ace and Cole, and then if the Yankees have Yamamoto, and if those guys can be innings eaters, which we know Cole is, we know Cole is. And if Yamamoto and Rodon can be innings eaters, man, it's just gonna make the bullpen's life much easier.
Oh yeah, so much different dynamic. I know some people are saying Yuki Matsui too for closer option. He's the legitimate closer option too.
Yeah, I'd welcome Yuki Matsui.
Yeah, I mean you can sign him out of Japan for just money. He's not going to cost Josh Hader money, so thankfully, and he's another one. There's another one. No qualifying offer, none of this stuff. You don't have to trade for him. So there's a lot of relief options. And I that's one thing I'm confident about Cashman and them. They always find good value in the bullpen, no matter what.
That's something I've been saying.
Ian Hamilton came nowhere. I mean, Clay Holmes came out of nowhere. They traded Hoyt Park for Clay Holmes, and we were like, what the?
Wandy?
Yeah, I mean, Wandy had a 4 ERA. Clay Holmes had a mid-5, and he came here as mid-2 now. So, that's the Matt Blake effect. He works wonders with some of these guys. Wonders.
Well, I can't think of that dude's name that we got 2 out the bullpen, but we let him go. But he was good for us for like a couple seasons. I can't think of his name though. I think he was a lefty too.
Andrew Miller?
No, he was kind of like ball headed.
Oh wait, man.
I can't think of his name. It's escaped me.
Lucas Licky?
Yes.
I don't know where the hell.
Was he lefty? Or was he righty?
No, he was
Yeah,
lefty.
and he was good.
Yeah,
he was good.
He was quietly valuable. Yeah. What is this? What about Ataris and Carpenter with Soto? Ataris? Who's Ataris?
It was a game system.
The hell is that? Yeah. Carpenter with Soto and throwing Rizzo. I'll take Carpenter if the Padres are willing to take Rizzo. All right.
Sure.
Mm-hmm.
That's a fair swap off. It's only a 1 year swap off from each other anyway. But the prize again is Juan Soto. And if it's doable, then yeah. Dodgers are trying to get both Ohtani. Yeah, I could see them getting Ohtani. I can't see the Dodgers getting both. True, I just can't see that happening. Brandon Belter-Joy. I think Angelo, they'd probably be better off instead of those older guys. I like Votto, but I would just if Rizzo is not 100% or he gets hurt or moved, then you can move DJ to first base. He's a solid defender. So, did I make a video about Rizzo going to Judge? No, not a specific video on that because Anthony Rizzo is using Judge's hitting coach, Richard C. And he's healthy, which is a good sign. So the chances of them using him, it's good. I mean, him and being able to start in spring training in the year is good. So, but I did not make a video on that. Richard, so sorry about that. I didn't have as much information as possible. I'm more concerned that Rizzo's going to be healthy. So, which would be to me a good thing to report. The Knicks are definitely watchable. TD, yeah.
Yeah.
I take Carpenter for keeping Rizzo in a Soto. Yeah, I mean, I would take Carpenter too. Why not? There's no news on Kiermaier right now, Andrew Dang. The only thing is that he's willing to play for the Yankees. He wants to stay in the American League East. We do know these things, but no action right now on the Kiermaier front. I think that might happen once some of these other guys get signed and traded. So, as the market hasn't been created yet for guys like Kiermaier.
Do y'all think the Mets overpaid for Sevy?
I think so.
Yeah, maybe a little bit, but it's only 1 year. So, I wish him well. I'm happy for him. Congratulations to him.
Yeah.
It might be whatever.
Yeah, $13 million I thought was a little much. I thought maybe he would have gotten less than 10 just because of his injury history. Maybe on like a 1 year prove it deal.
Yeah, I mean
they signed him to a year contract, but I wouldn't have done 13 million again, just given his injury history.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean that to me just is a sign.
Sevy's a sad story, man.
It's unfortunate, yeah.
Yeah,
he fell off the map. He has such a promising future, such a promising arm, and he fell off the map and couldn't stay healthy. I feel terrible for him. He's a good guy, He's a good teammate.
Y'all know. I was about to say, y'all know he's the second. I guess I don't like using this word a lot, but he was basically the second ace that was damn as good for us. I mean, Ching-Ming Wong and not him.
Yeah, and Chen Ming-Wong with that this frank injury.
Because he was good. He was like ascending.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
and then he got that foot injury.
Together would have been fantastic, man.
Mm-hmm.
Unfreaking believable. So anyway, and I'll wrap this up in a minute, guys. We're going on 2 hours.
All good. Yeah.
Sevy, and I'll root for Sevy too. I wish him well.
I'm gonna root for him.
He always carried himself well here, so I wish him well. I like the idea of getting Bellinger to take over first base. Yes, he can. That takes care of the outfield spot this year and next year, number of years exactly, and then which makes room for Dominguez to not have to be rushed back. I don't want to go into this Aaron Rodgers thing where Aaron Rodgers is trying to rush back from a torn Achilles, and then what's he going to come back? He's going to tear his ACL his first game back. Like he's trying. The Jets put him on the 21-day practice list today. They cleared him for practice. Was he coming back 5 months early? Like, oh Jesus God, he's 40. So
yeah, big mistake there.
They're playing with fire.
They are playing with fire.
I don't have a good feeling, and I understand Zach Wilson has not shown to be the answer. Neither has Tim Boyle. I get it, but and Aaron Rodgers would be better to take advantage of these weapons. But injured Aaron Rodgers doesn't help with the weapons. So. And he's going to be non-contact. So how the hell are you going to know if he's ready or not? If he's going to be non-contact for the next 21 days.
Yeah, it's almost like he's getting asked to have his career ended.
Yeah, I mean, and he's got this crazy contract, right? $20 million this year. I think it's like $80 million next year. The dead cap money next year is out of control on Aaron Rodgers. Out of control. But that's what they somehow agreed on. Better hope to God he comes back productive next year. Get some offensive line to protect his ass.
Nobody's picking this up neither. Another reason why I want Bellinger on our team, there's nobody behind that can protect Judge. And I feel like he can do that.
Yeah, and to me, he would be a legitimate number 4 behind Judge. I would put Rizzo at 5 and then Stanton at 6 to take pressure off Stanton too. I think we need to protect Judge, Stanton, and Volpe in increments and put the right guys in between them. And if you somehow got Soto and Bellinger, I would be batting Soto second. I'd bat Judge third, Bellinger 4th. Like I want the top of the lineup to be a nightmare for pitchers. A nightmare for pitchers. So,
yeah, I think I'm saying Soto and Yamamoto are the priority, and I think Bellinger's a bonus.
Mm-hmm.
He's the mark. I feel like he's the Mark Teixeira for us.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the way I see it. I feel like he's Mark Teixeira. Like we wasn't expecting that, but it's like gravy on top.
That's what I'm saying. Teixeira was a bonus in 2009. Like nobody saw that one coming.
No.
Yeah.
Nobody saw that one.
That was like a week before spring training. Like end of January.
Really?
Yeah. When they got Teixeira.
Okay.
Yep.
I thought it was like December of 2008 or something. But okay.
The first day of free agency, whatever the hell that day was, they knocked on CC's door. They got CC locked up the first day.
I remember that.
I think a week later, or not even a week later, Burnett got signed because they both were in the press conference together, introductory press conference together.
Yeah.
So, and then it was a while. And then they got Swisher, Emerson Marte, a couple other moves, and then Teixeira was like out of nowhere, a total haymaker, total haymaker. So, Craig, I don't know if he's going to set a deadline. They set a deadline for Yamamoto. I don't think they'll do it for Soto. But again,
Soto's not a free agent, so
yeah. I mean, again, these guys have to be willing to quickly pivot if something doesn't happen. The way they want it to happen. If it doesn't happen, they got to quickly pivot to other moves, really quickly. So, and I hope that they do. I really hope that they do. But yeah, Bellinger worries a lot of people. I don't know if he'd be average. I mean, I think he's suited for the big stage. His dad was a Yankee, 2-time world champion. He played in a big market already, 2 big markets, the Cubs and the Dodgers. So I don't worry about him being like a Joey Gallo kind of under the limelight. I don't worry about that. This guy's got charisma, So I think, and I hope we're proven wrong too. The people that are worried about him, I hope he proves us wrong. I really do. Hope he stays healthy. But to your point too, if they can get him on a shorter deal, hell yeah, get him on a shorter deal.
And he has something that most of everybody on our team doesn't have. He has a chip too.
Well, this is true too. We got every team.
COVID year.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm still giving it to him. Man, we all played that year. I'm not gonna do that to the Dodgers. I'm not gonna do that to the Dodgers.
They didn't play a full season. I know I'm just busting balls, but
Yeah.
I'm just
But he was also an MVP too. That's people keep forgetting about how good Bellinger was.
2019.
And then this year he won the NL Comeback Player of the Year.
Yep.
So
yes, he did. Yes,
I mean, he did turn it up this year. I'll give it up to him.
Yeah,
he turned it up.
I'll say this too. What if he bats 270, gives us 25 home runs and 90 RBIs this year? That's way better than anybody on our team too, besides Judge.
I'll sign
I
up
would
for
welcome that any day.
That's what I'm saying. So like, I don't know. I'm not intimidated by his health. And like Jason said, if you want about his health so much, put him at first base.
Yeah.
Which they could do after Rizzo.
Yeah. After his 10 years up, the Yankees, sure. Why not?
Yeah.
Why not? So it's gonna be a lot. It's gonna be a lot of moving parts. I think the first domino to probably fall is gonna be the Soto move, and I'm guessing we'll probably hear more about it tomorrow. We'll start to hear a little bit more about it, and then maybe Sunday will be quiet, and all of a sudden, boom, the winter meetings that start Monday. Something's gonna happen. I don't know what the hell is gonna be, but something's gonna happen. So I'm really curious to see. I'm curious to see what the Yankees do. I'm curious to see what the Mets do. I'm curious to see what like the Red Sox do. Dodgers, like some of these other teams. So I think Ohtani's probably signed before Yamamoto. I think Soto probably goes before both of them. The way that they're progressing now, although they could also fly on cruise control for a little while, and that could happen later. So we'll see what they go back and forth with the names. You know, I want this, you want that. We'll give you this, we'll give you that. And who knows what the hell's going to be going on with the names. So but once we hear it, we'll get it out to you, gang. We'll definitely get it out to you. So if there's anybody here that's not subscribed to this channel or Pinstripe Chronicles, please do. Please do. We greatly appreciate your support. Please hit the like button on the way out, gang. We had 300 and something people in here. Hopefully we got to at least 250 likes. Love to get to 300 if we could. So if you don't mind hitting it on the way out, it's greatly appreciated. I want to thank NFE for coming on, Jim from Ball Cap Sports, Maz for coming on, then Krista Flash as well. I want to thank you guys for coming on. Really appreciate you. Oh, my Consul Yeti's here too. Yeah, I'm worried about legs. Why not say? That's a good point too, Consul Yeti. That's a good point too. Worry about legs. Why not staying there first?
He's even too stiff to play first.
Yeah, I know. And he runs slower than Steve Balborni at this point, unfortunately. So,
Jason, I was gonna say you're currently at 277 likes. So
277. We need 23 to get to 300, gang. So if we have 23 people who haven't hit that thumbs up, please hit that thumbs up so we can get to 300. I thank you so much for it. But guys, this was a fantastic discussion. A lot of stuff got talked about. A lot of good points back and forth. A lot of good perspectives. A lot of good conversation. I want to thank you all for coming on. It's always a pleasure. I want to thank you all for joining us in the live stream. Thank you for the super chats. Thank you for the support. Thank you for your comments. It was going pretty quickly, so we apologize if I didn't get to everybody. But shout out to everybody that joined us. Really. Peace and love to all of you. Have a great night to you guys. And I'll see y'all on the other side. Have a great night. I'll see y'all tomorrow. Peace. All right, gentlemen.